In my previous video, I discussed about Waltham Abbey and why it doesn't have sufficient transport, that is in terms of rail access. That video did really well, but there are several other settlements across Greater London that don't have any rail access at all, and one of these towns is in northwest London, and that is Harefield, outside of the main built-up portion of Greater London, but still inside the border. This town still has only one type of transport, buses, and cars to an extent. With an iconic village green, businesses, and fascinating history, it's no wonder why it doesn't have rail access. So let's talk about it. Harefield is a town in northwest London in the London Borough of Hillingdon. With a population of 7,400 people and only 17 miles northwest of Charing Cross, it is also the westernmost settlement in Greater London. The story of this town started after the Norman conquest. Back then, there were raging arguments about enough arable land for the number of ploughs, until it grew into the number of pigs being registered in Middlesex farms. But by the 12th and 13th centuries, the land was believed to have been hired back to the lord and was unfree. Harefield was eventually split into three manors, the main manor of Harefield and two smaller manors of Moorhall and Brackenbury. Moorhall encompassed what we know as South Harefield today, while Brackenbury encompassed part of Swakeleys. They were first owned by the Clares before switching possession throughout the 13th, 14th, and 15th centuries until in 1585, when John Newdigate handed control over to Edmund Anderson and then to Thomas Egerton, which remained ever since. We then skip about 300 or so years to World War One, when Harefield Park was used as an Australian military hospital to help dead servicemen. This is why there is a globe outside of the village green, showing Australia on one side and Britain on the other, with a hare sculpture inside it. Now, it's worth talking about Harefield's struggles with transport and why getting rail up there is a complex task. First of all, Harefield is so isolated from any shopping or commercial areas, where rail stations are intended to be built, like Uxbridge to the south. But this town does have buses, particularly the 331 and U9 buses, that ferry passengers to Denham and Uxbridge stations. But these two stations don't even come close to the nearest actual station to the town. Here is a diagram to show you what I mean. You have the Chiltern Main Line and Uxbridge branch on one side, and the Chesham and Amersham lines of the Met on the other. You can clearly see that Rickmansworth is the nearest station, at only 2.5 miles direct distance, but it takes anything like 40 to 50 minutes as there is no direct bus between both towns. This is not efficient. While Uxbridge is reachable by the aforementioned 331 and U9 buses, overall, Uxbridge is a very difficult place to get to, even from the centre by the tube. The second consequence is that Harefield is fully within the Greenbelt legislated area, which greatly limits its development, and the fact that most farmers in the area still need some of this land for agriculture. All of these consequences answer one question: can we even try and get to Harefield by rail? The answer is, we have tried. Sort of. Back during LT's New Works program, one of their plans was to extend the Central Line even further west than today's terminus at West Ruislip, which stops at Harefield Road and Denham, but this extension was delayed because of World War II, and the Greenbelt cancelled the project altogether. But the advantage to this is interesting. The Central Line does go in a sort of direction heading off Harefield, which could, in theory, give us another answer, extending the Central Line to Harefield. But this has been swapped in favour of diverting the Central Line from West Ruislip to Uxbridge, as there is a connecting line through Ruislip Depot, but you already have two lines to Uxbridge, and having a third one could really exacerbate congestion, especially since CBTC on the Met has to be installed. So I have laid out another proposal which could finally allow direct rail access to Harefield once and for all. Let's talk about it. So the new Central Line extension to Harefield will start at the Central Line's current western terminus, West Ruislip, and it will travel along continue to run parallel along the Chiltern Main Line and the future proposed and currently being built HS2. And the first stop on the new extension would be Swakeleys Park, which would be built along Breakspear Road, and it will just improve the coverage around this part of Ickenham and Hillingdon. And after Swakeleys Park, the line will continue to run parallel along the Chiltern Main Line for a few hundred meters, before it then dives underground to run to cross under the Chiltern Main Line, and it would slightly interfere with the current HS2 work site, but I'm pretty sure once HS2 gets finished in like the 2030s, this extension could go ahead and this tunnel would be built to pass under the HS2 tunnel. So the Central Line tracks would then turn north and would then run through the lovely countryside, approaching the Harefield area. And the tracks would then turn northwest and would then merge onto an elevated guideway, approaching the next station at Harefield Marina. And this station will serve the town of South Harefield and is named after the marina of the same name, and it'll be a more lucrative option rather than Denham Station, which has rather infrequent services into central London. And after Harefield Marina, the line would then sink back onto ground level for a few hundred meters, and would then shortly approach the terminus, the full platform terminus at Harefield, which would be built near the village green around Pond Close, which is this road here, and it would be a fully integrated transport hub servicing the thousands of people that live here. And yeah, that is the Central Line extension up to Harefield. The concept I've made has good pros in that it will take people off of buses like the 331 with regards to the fare, which is about £1.75, but when I went, I reached a weekend cap, which meant that the journey was free, but it doesn't excuse the fact that buses are slow, so having trains can speed up journey times from Harefield. But disadvantages is that most of the extension would be built on greenbelt land, and again, like Waltham Abbey, it would be unlikely to see any progress, even going so close to the sacred St. Mary's Church. And the tunnel I mentioned earlier could slightly interfere with HS2. As you may know, HS2 is building one of the longest viaducts in the UK, which would cross near here and over the Colne Valley. So if this extension does get approved, we may have to wait until HS2 is finished, but it could be a real game changer. So, that is my vision for Harefield to have its own rail line. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and just a quick note, when I went there was a fantastic village parade happening, which only made my visit even better. Now, I'll leave you with this closing shot of some musical composers during the village parade. So, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.